And I believe you said that you learned from Vidrine that he called or had a call with Mark Hafley in which the 1400 PSI on the drill pipe was discussed?
It was mentioned in that call, I believe, and I think I made reference to that in my note.
I want to ask you about a statement at the bottom of the page ending 370022. And it appears to state, talked to Hafley about the 1400, said, if there had been a kick in the hole, we would have seen.
Yes.
And this was a note that you made to reflect something that Vidrine had told you during your interview.
Yeah.
So to be clear, Vidrine told you that he talked to Hafley about the 1400 PSI observed on the drill pipe.
Yes, he mentioned that to Hafley, yes.
And Vidrine went on to tell you that Hafley had told him that if there had been a kick in the hole, we would have seen it.
Yes, I can clarify there. I can't remember if it was Hafley that said that or if Vidrine said that. Vidrine said he talked to Hafley about 1400 PSI. I'm clear on that. Then it says there, said if there had been a kick in the hole, we would have seen it. Now, my recollection is, I don't know if it was Vidrine that said that to Hafley or Hafley said that to Vidrine. However, I concur that that was said.
Okay, and when you testified about that yesterday, you didn't have your notes in front of you, so I just wanted to give you a chance to look and see if, you know, the way you've noted this here refreshes your recollection on whether Vidrine told you, Hafley told him, if there had been a kick, we would have seen it, or vice versa.
Yeah, and I can't remember how it was said, but that was part of the discussion. Who said it?
Okay, one other. One other question on that. The discussion that's referenced here in the statement about the 1400 PSI between Hafley and Vidrine, does this indicate that that discussion took place during the call we looked at yesterday, and we can get the log out, but it was about a 9:47 p.m. call from between Hafley and Vidrine?
Yes, my understanding, this conversation took place, it was around 9 o'clock when Hafley called the rig, what I described yesterday as a sort of end of the day call, just to check up on what was going on.
Okay, so that was the call during which this discussion about 1400 PSI between Vidrine and Hafley took place?
Yes, sir.
And the discussion about if there had been a kick, we would have seen it, that was all part of the same conversation?
Yes, sir.
Wanted to ask you about another note, and I'll show you this one. This was not an exhibit yesterday. But this appears to be your notes of maybe a different interview with Vidrine, but it notes at the top Robinson, Martin, Cowie, and then appears to go on and give your interview notes. It's marked BP-HZN-CEC020351. And is that a note of a different call between Vidrine and Hafley, or what do you recollect about that?
Objection to form.
My recollection of this when I reread my own notes is that on my notes I had a note in there on page 2 which said that during the negative test Vidrine said he went and called Hafley, and it says on his return they were still watching the stripping tank when he came back.
Where is that on page 2?
That's on page 2 of my written notes.
Okay, about the middle of the page, and this is the page marked with Bates numbers that ends 370021, part of Exhibit 7316. It says called Hafley, still watching
Strip tank.
strip tank. When I came back, dripping had stopped.
So my recollection of this is, sorry.
Go ahead. No, that's what I was going to ask. You anticipated it.
I'm getting ahead of you. But my recollection of this is that during the negative test, Mr. Vadrine was thinking about the test and then what were the upcoming operations beyond that, and he went to discuss that with Mr. Hafley while the test was going on, went back to the rig floor after that, and this was a condition when he went back.
So was this a call between Vadrine and Hafley before the other call we've already discussed?
That's my recollection of it, yes.
There was a discussion during the test when Vadrine stepped out to call Hafley.
That was my recollection of the conversation that I had with Mr. Vadrine on that day, yes.
Okay, and then the other call, which we discussed previously, took place after the test.
Yes, that was later in the evening, 9
to
o'clock.
Discuss anomalies observed during the test.
Well, it actually was to discuss what happened during that day, and part of that discussion was the 1400 PSI.